Misty, would you call the roll?
You were miserable.
Real excited to do this. Dave Burris.
Present.
Yes.
Welcome back. We missed you.
Thank you.
J.R. Huddleston.
Here.
Deborah Johnston. Here. Bill Lukens.
Here.
Larry Pratt.
Present.
Craig Romey.
Present.
Linda Varvel.
Here.
Melanie Wilson.
Here.
Thank you.
Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, if you haven't noticed, Mayor Nelson's not here tonight, so as council president, I'll be facilitating the meeting. I will be voting as a council member, so nothing's changed in that respect. We want to welcome back Councilman Burris. Dave, it is really good to see you.
It is.
And,
I'd like to let everybody know I appreciate my family and I, all the prayers and good wishes that were sent to me, email, and folks stopping by the house. And we really appreciate it. And I needed it, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Great to have you back, Dave.
Yes.
Okay, I want to remind all council members to excuse themselves from any item that they believe there's a conflict of interest prior to voting on the item. So, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Comments?
Whoa. Sorry, I didn't get the second.
She beat me.
Give it to Dave.
Johnston?
No. Give it to Dave.
Okay. You're both pointing at each other and I just need somebody.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the September 6th council meeting?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the September 6th council meeting.
Second.
Comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the bills in between?
Make a motion to approve the bills in between $187,919.76.
Second.
Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the current claims?
I'll make a motion to approve the current claims of $95,696.59.
Second.
Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, communications from the public. First of all, I'd like, I believe Frank Maynard, the Fall River County Emergency Manager, has some comments to make.
Good evening. As the emergency manager in Fall River County, part of the requirements of the local emergency management planning grant, I need to appear before all of the elected official boards and brief you on a couple of the grant application processes, as well as some of the plans that we have. The first plan that we do annually in January is the local emergency operations plan, better known as the LEOP. That plan is reviewed every year in January and updated. It's been in existence now for approximately 6 years, and my understanding is it's based on the emergency support functions, ESFs, which covers fire, ambulance, law, public health, etc. And FEMA's coming out with a new template. So probably next year sometime, somebody's going to get to rewrite the LEOP for all of the counties in the state of South Dakota. But for right now, the plan is, like I said, it's reviewed every year in January and updated. It's a solid document. It's not a public document. It's a need-to-know basis document. We don't give our playbook to the bad guys. So The other plan that I need to discuss a little bit with you is the pre-disaster mitigation plan, the PDM. That plan was developed about, I think, 3 years ago. Now time kind of slips away, and members of the governing bodies throughout the county and other individuals were brought together, and we established the pre-disaster mitigation plan. And what it basically looks at is how we respond to emergencies. And within that plan, there's also, in the appendix, there's projects that are listed based on a priority from each of the entities. And as grant funding becomes available, then it allows us to apply for mitigation funds to either completely mitigate the issue or lessen the impact that it would have. And that plan is a rewrite every 5 years, so it still has 2 more years. And again, that plan is reviewed annually. We look at the projects, maybe things change, so we might bump a project down and move something else in its place. So it's a living document, and all of these documents that I'm talking about, the city does have copies of them. The last document that I want to talk about is the hazardous materials plan. We just completed the update, the 5-year update on that plan. The SERC did the review on it last week, and I have not gotten the official copy of it back, but when I do, then the commission, Fall River County Commission, approved that plan as written, and I'll get a copy of that to the city as soon as I get it back from the SERC. At the last public safety meeting, South Dakota Wildland Fire was present and did some discussion on the Community Wildfire Protection Plan, the CWPP. Fall River County originally had a plan that was written in 2009. We updated the map portion of that and the response portion of it in 2015. And the federal government has recently come out with grant funding available for counties or cities, tribes, et cetera, to be able to update their community wildfire protection plan. You can do an update if the plan is less than 10 years old. If it's more than 10 years old, then you have to do a total rewrite. And at the last public safety meeting, Logan Brown from Wildland Fire was at the meeting and discussed the process of being able to apply for grant in order to be able to update that, or not update, but rewrite the Community Wildfire Protection Plan for Fall River County. And I have the majority of the application completed. I have a couple questions for Logan that I hope to get done tomorrow, and the deadline on the grant application is October 7th. So within that, it will allow the cities as well as the county to be able to put in for projects for fuel mitigation, defensible spaces, training, under the Firewise program, various and assorted things like that. So there are some grant opportunities that are going to be coming down the road, so maybe we can get some messes around town and in and about between the town and the county, be able to get some defensible spaces if we ever get another Alabaw Canyon or any of those types of fires. We can prevent loss of property and possibly loss of life. Questions?
I heard you say that it would be someone else in the next couple years that would be updating the
I hope so.
LIEOP. I caught that.
One of these years I'm going to take a walk. So, all right, thank you very much. Good luck tonight.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
Appreciate all your help. It's almost 7:10, and we do have a public hearing at 7:10. So I'm going to go ahead and have a little bit of dead air before I read one communication from the public that we received. So it is 7:10, so we'll open up a public hearing. This public hearing is from regarding Ryan and Stacy Hanna. It's a use permit on review for a home occupation for Ryan and Stacy Hanna for an in-home carry-out specialty bakery at a future residence to be located at 27474 Galveston Heights. Are the Hannas here, and would they like to make any comments?
Be happy to answer any questions.
Would you like to come forward to the mic, please? And if you would, state your name and your address.
See, he was going to make me come by myself.
Made her worry anyways.
Rude. I'm Stacy Hanna, and this is my husband, Ryan Hanna.
Hello?
And your current address?
Our current address is 27436 Galveston Heights Street. We live further up that, but we own all the property up to there.
Okay, thank you.
So, yep.
Is there anything you'd like to say about your application?
So I did print off the rough package of the home that we're going to place. I know you guys haven't had any images of it. If you like, I could bring them up and you guys could take a quick peek at
We
them.
don't have enough for everybody. We just
Yeah,
printed a couple if you guys wanted to pass
That
around.
would be great. That'd be great.
I can grab it for
I
you.
do have one question.
Go ahead.
Food safety, you guys are,
Working with the South Dakota Department of Health.
okay?
The lady that's in charge of that. Yep, we've been in contact. She sent me the information she needed. I have to get through this process before I go any further for anything else, so.
Okay.
Yep.
And both of you are taking those courses?
It's only required the one person take
Yeah,
it.
it's only-
in the
I
thing,
just didn't
so,
know if-
Yep, just me.
Okay.
Yep.
And you will submit that to be, to
Yep.
go along with this once that is all done
Yep,
too, right?
yep.
Okay.
And I have seen the sign out on the property.
Yep.
Have you've sent the letters out to the?
Yep, the city sent them out.
Then we got the
3
return
weeks ago,
receipts, yep.
4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Have there been any negative responses?
No, and to be clear, they paid for it. We just did the service for them.
Yeah, they sent it to make sure that everybody got the required information, and then we came in and paid the bill for it.
So are you going to be living in this place, or is this the kitchen per se?
This will start out as a residence. We won't move into it right away,
I
no.
was going to say, because it's kind of small for living
Yep,
and
it's a one-bedroom,
bakery.
one-bath. Yep.
Some of our idea on this is, for one, there's no infrastructure up Galveston Heights Street. This allows us to get a foot in the door. We want to build a forever home up on one of our lots, just a little up the road. And by allowing us to have
Start somewhere. We have to have a starting point, because the cost from there to our other lot where we want to build is just too high, so we have to work in stages.
I'm sure you guys are aware that infrastructure is quite expensive right now, so.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you going to do just pickup? Are you doing delivery, doing packaged foods also, frozen foods?
So my main thing is going to be cakes, cupcakes, cake sickles, which are like, yeah, you can keep that, Larry. They're bigger popsicles, they're just not circle ones. I have cookies and bars that I'm going to sell that are going to be pre-order basis. Currently, I have so many orders I'm unable to fulfill, and I'm trying to go about this the right way, so I'm only doing for friends, basically a donation, or basically just giving it to them. But at this point, word of mouth has gotten out, and there is no place that does custom cakes. But mainly it'll be cakes and cupcakes and stuff like that. So, and it will be delivery basis or pickup basis, depending on what the customer is requesting. Wedding cakes and stuff like that will have to be delivered because they're just too big, so.
But it's not going to be a dine-in establishment.
No, it's going to be an in and out.
We're not going to have numerous vehicles in and out. I mean, if you come and picked up your cake, you're talking at most, a dozen people a day maybe coming through.
If that.
It's the first lot off of a paved highway, paved street that.
Behind a bowling alley and a grocery store.
Surrounded by commercial businesses already
Yeah.
in the industrial park.
Yeah,
so.
in Hot Springs Industrial Park, so.
No, I think you folks will do good, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Will you be offering diabetic?
I actually have thought about how I'm going to do that because my dad is diabetic, so I do try to make cater towards him. I'm still trying to teach myself how to go about that, so hopefully one day.
She is making a gluten-free
I do gluten-free
wedding
wedding
cake for a
cakes
friend
and
of ours
stuff like
here in
that,
a
so.
couple weeks, so.
In Montana, so that'll be fun.
Are there any comments from the public? Would you like to come down?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And please state your name and address.
My name is Faith Kilby, and my home is directly adjoined to this property, and it's zoned residential. And when I bought my house, I never anticipated having a bakery next door, which would have increased traffic, increased people, increased dirt along the dirt road. That just wasn't something I had anticipated. My house is right behind where they're planning to build, as I understand. I was sent a certified letter informing me of this, so that's why I'm here.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the name.
Faith Kilby, K-I-L-B-Y.
Thank you, Faith.
Based on what you've heard from the Hannahs tonight?
I haven't heard anything, I just received the letter from the
No, based on
courthouse.
what they said tonight, has that addressed any of your concerns about how much traffic they expect during the day?
I don't know how you could predict that. It's zoned a residential area. When I bought my home, I planned on living in a residential area.
The street is actually a separate street from the street you get to your house on, correct?
My house was this way, and then there's a road that goes up the hill to the,
Right.
What would be the distance between your house and their house?
the letter I received said 200 feet, I believe.
You are within the 200.
You're
You are
within-
within that radius. That doesn't mean that's how far you are. They did a radius.
It's not built yet, I have no idea.
Did you buy the Weenia house?
Yes, sir.
And they're building on the left side of the road going up to the trailer park. Am I correct?
Correct, on the corner.
Yes.
When you turn to go up to the trailer park, that corner lot, as I understand it.
Yes, so that, so there's the gravel, so there's the bowling alley, then there's the gravel road, and then there's that strip of land between. It's that first corner that's right behind the bowling alley. So it goes the bowling alley, road, our property, their property. They get to their property on Galveston, is it Avenue Heights? What is that one?
Avenue.
Galveston Avenue, and then this road is Galveston Heights. So they go down and then they have a driveway that goes into theirs.
So
So their
you-
property borders right along our property.
So you're in the right side of the road going to the trailer park?
Yes, correct.
When you turn left on the Galveston, the first lot on the right, approximately, the driveway would be approximately 60 feet off of Galveston Avenue. So, I mean, there'd be very little gravel that would actually be driven. And we are actually building it as a residence, not as a full-blown business. That's why we're asking for this use on the use.
Well, it is legal to have a business in your home. You're going the right way about it.
Yes, you are. That's what was nice about hearing this. Now, your home would be past the property that you're discussing, right?
Behind it.
But past, I mean, straight, the road that goes up the hill, straight, it's, like
So-
their house is next.
So she would be away. Okay.
And
Your
isn't-
home is on Galveston Avenue, not Galveston Heights, correct?
And our property runs all the way up.
And you have a parcel, your house is on one parcel, and then there's another empty parcel, and then there's their land, right?
Right.
So there is a buffer of your property between your house and their property line with that empty,
Well, the extra lot is to the east towards John Lane's house. That's a whole nother lot. But
Yes, there's a lot between the two.
right?
Isn't there like a draw in between you guys?
There's a culvert waterway.
And a whole
I don't know
bunch
if
of
it's a draw.
trees. There's a lot of trees on their land,
Yeah, it's all treed.
yeah.
We've asked you questions, let me ask this question. What is it that you're possibly concerned with?
I was just asked to come tonight and hear what was to be said, because I don't know anything about it.
Okay. Have you face on face talked with them?
No.
Okay. Do you have any current concerns that's popping into your mind as we're having this discussion?
Well, like I said, when I bought my home as a residential home, I didn't plan on having a bakery next to my home with increased traffic and people and noise and along the dirt road. This is the first that I'd heard of it when I got the letter, and if there's no home built, I have nothing to base anything else off of. If it's a future residence, I can't anticipate anything.
Would it be okay if I shared one of those copies of the plans that you shared with the council? Does anybody have them? Maybe it'll relieve, because it does sound like it's going to be a residence. It's not going to be a commercial bakery. Maybe this will help.
I'll just remind everyone, the Planning and Zoning Commission did approve these plans, and I'm trying to think of the word, recommended that it be approved.
Thank you, Deb. That was going to be one of my next questions.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any other questions for us?
She's kind of blindsided.
I have no
You
more
can always-
information to go off of, so I
You
don't
can
have
always
anything.
come back and talk to us at any time, any of your concerns.
And since it is a use on review, there is a procedure, if it's not working out, that it can be readdressed. Since it is a use on review, it can come back. If there's complaints that are verifiable, that the use on review can be rescinded later. That's how that works, right?
Yes, it is. The use on review is something as it's not abnormal, but it's a certain situation where we go yearly, and if there's becomes a problem, the review part comes in and see if we can't fix that, come to a good agreement. If there's something that can't be done, then the process moves on. But you always have the ability to contact anybody at the City Hall, and if you have a situation that you want to have rectified, then you come and see us to talk with us. You don't have a whole lot to go on, I understand that, because the building's not there at this time. But as time goes by, that this still stands. You will be able to review this, go to the city and bring up your problem. And we review it as it goes, and the process goes on. If there is something we can't come to a conclusion with, and make both parties happy.
Well, based on what?
Whatever happens in the future.
If they're causing too much noise, too much dirt.
Too much traffic.
The traffic's way more than the road can handle, any kind of complaint like
All
that.
complaints will be considered,
Yeah.
but they got to be verifiable. I mean, you know,
I mean, you got the bowling alley just right over the edge of the hill from where they're at that has a lot of traffic that parks behind the building there right across the street from where they're going to be. So there is already precedent set with people coming and going in that area. So that's kind of,
There's also precedent set for the people that own the homes behind it.
right.
Do you own your home? Would you want a bakery next to your investment if you hadn't planned on it being there initially?
you're not talking about a walk-in restaurant, though.
I don't know what it is. This is the first I've ever
Yeah.
heard or seen of it, so I'm
Well,
kind of at a
They
disadvantage.
explained earlier that this is going to be calling in orders. These are going to be orders that are custom. That's what she's going after is custom. It's not going to be like your regular bakery where daily they put out breads and the donuts and all that stuff, and people just stop at their own time. They will be making appointments and meeting with people, and they'll deliver or pick up, whatever they end up choosing. So it's not like you're gonna have a convenience store, let's put it that way, right next door to you. But-
I don't know what to expect. This is
Yeah,
the first
no,
I'd heard of it, and they'd never
and-
come and spoke to me, so I
Yeah.
have no way of knowing or had no
And that
heads up on it.
That
so.
might rectify you to have a face-to-face with them and discuss how they plan on doing it, whatever questions you have, and then, it'd be coming directly from them. But always remember, the review part of this is always going to be part of this. It's passing on or not passing on, but if it does pass, it is use on review. So there will be, eyes will be on it. If there are problems come up, it could always be, we could always come back to this. So it's not like you're just going to be left out. I want you to understand it. It's not like once it's done, you have no choice. You always have the ability.
I understand that. I want to be neighborly with them, but I've never heard of anything about it until now. So
Yeah.
And that's the
I don't want to cause any bad blood between them because
Oh, no,
they're my
and
neighbors
that's
and I
what-
don't know them at all. So
And that's the purpose for the letters.
Yeah.
So that one day you wake up and there's a building there with a bakery sign out there.
Right.
And that's the purpose for the letters.
Is to inform you if you didn't know, or if you were on vacation or whatnot, so you know what's coming, what's going, and to be part of the process.
And I think they did say
I
that
would,
they aren't going to
suggest-
have any, I'm sorry, I think
Sorry,
they did
second.
say that they aren't going to have any signage, is that correct?
There's no outside sign.
No outside signage.
My turn.
Sorry.
Thank you.
that's on here.
That's on the
No.
That's
Faith,
in our ordinance.
Yes,
what I would suggest, if you don't want bad blood, this is and you know me, this is my suggestion, okay? Two of you get together, walk the property, you tell them, her, explain to her what the process is, just have verbiage going and see what goes from there. Maybe give it a chance, see what happens, just, do that.
well, this is an awkward situation because I didn't,
But I understand
I'm
what
at
you're
an
saying.
obvious
I mean,
disadvantage here because I
just
didn't know
had
anything
over my
about it.
my area, a house moved in the corner, it's like, okay, nobody told me, but that, I get what you're saying, right? Yeah, so, and now we have motorcycles over there, but it's like, okay, well, I gotta live with that now, right? So, try that process first and see. The two of you get together, talk about it, see what can come out of it, and go from there. And we'll still be here. Does that work?
Understood, thank you.
All right, thanks, Faith.
Stacy, do you have hours of operation, or are you going to
Not
be
even
open?
built yet.
Not even built.
Well, when they do, are they, is that anything that's anticipated, are they determined, like, don't normal bakers will go at 3 o'clock in the morning and stop at 7 in the morning or something?
definitely not
Like
going at
cement
3
layers?
o'clock in the morning. No.
Just worried.
No, will not have normal hours of operation.
Okay.
It'll be based on the.
Just on appointments?
Based on the appointments and based on the orders that I receive.
Okay.
And just so we are very clear, I will not have like a display shelf where you can come in and buy, if you want cupcakes, you need to get in contact with me the day before so that I can get them ready and I will either deliver or you can stop in and pick it up. Our driveway will literally be right off that road, easy accessible, easy in, so we're not gonna be, I'm trying to make this as easy for everybody as possible and
You're not gonna put a
as less
drive-through?
inconvenient as possible. I'm not gonna be there at 3 a.m. making donuts. I'm not doing donuts, no thank you. We have multiple places for that. It will be cake, cupcakes, stuff like that, based on orders, so.
Honestly, envision a small residence that we're trying to create a kitchen that would pass the health board. That's honestly all it is. It's going to be a small residence, a way for us to build infrastructure for not only us, but for the city.
There's no infrastructure up that.
And
We're trying to get it up that road
for the city, which, it's not like we're gonna have big parties and it's.
Honestly, I'm a pretty quiet person.
never been to a bakery party, I wouldn't mind.
I mean, when we open, we could probably do a little something.
You call it a cake tasting, maybe.
Yeah, there you go. But no, I mean, really, it is just a very, and I offer the conversation. She's more than welcome to get in touch with me. I believe Misty, was our numbers and stuff on that letter.
Yes, I believe
sent.
so.
Please feel free to reach out. I will happily meet you down there and explain everything. If not, I can give you my number. I'm not trying to be 100% honest, I've been making cakes for 10 years. I'm trying to do it the right way. I'm trying to do it the legal
You
way.
are on the right
I'm
path.
trying to help grow the city. I really am trying to do this the way that will benefit everybody, so.
Okay, thank you.
We've had the
you.
property for approximately a
2
year
years
and a
now.
half, 2 years. You know, I've hauled out countless hours of brush and debris, and I mean, we're trying to clean the place up. It was pretty much unused for 2 to 3 decades, so,
Yeah, so
you know, we're.
Many years.
that's what we have. Does anybody have any questions for us?
Is there any other comments from the public?
Got one in the back.
Come on down.
Mr. Alston?
Thank you.
Thank you, yeah.
Don Olston. As to the lady's concerns of what goes on there, the ordinance is very clear. I'm on the planning and zoning, folks, so we've been dealing with these types of things for off and on for years. If you read the ordinance states the character of the neighborhood cannot be changed. It specifically does not allow signage. It does not allow the advertising of the residential address in their displays, in any kind of advertising that they do. So it's very specific, and as you noted, it's a use permitted on review. Now, you can put a house up and just start doing this. This stuff's going on in town. This is a little odd from the standpoint that the house isn't there yet.
Yep.
But as we've understood, dealing with Galveston Heights for all this time, there's no infrastructure going up that road for all these lots on that side. So in order to put infrastructure in and only single load it from one side was always a challenge. But with the pandemic going on and the upshoot in material prices, it's made it completely oppressive to even begin to try to do it. So what these folks are trying to do is figure out a way to make this work. That house has to stand as a residence that qualifies in an RA residential area. Now, that area was originally built as an industrial park. Didn't have anything going on up there. Had some storage units. County's got a storage building, which if you followed a while back, the county was trying to trade that to a heating business for some land for a jail expansion. Now, the county can come in and pretty much do what they want with their building. So you've got some non-complying uses in there that took place before the residential housing was in place.
Right.
It was changed to RA zone when the townhouses were built by the council, which was an error because the townhouses don't fit in residential A without a use permit on review, which is tough to do because once they're built, it's hard to remove that use.
Yes.
In this case, the bakery could go away, but the house has to stand alone on its own. It's particularly challenging for planning and zoning in that area to have a residential A area bordered by just that street with the highway service, which is Pizza Hut, Subway, the bowling alley, and those things. So that makes it doubly hard to do anything with it. So for these folks to try to put a residence in there and move it up, I would say is not without some risk because it limits probably your sales potential on your clientele. Because somebody looks over there, well, I don't live next to the bowling alley. So that all being said, this process, I can tell you on that corner, P&Z was approached with trying to figure out a way that, not P&Z figuring out a way, but a guy wanted to figure out how to put in shipping containers and turn them into houses on that corner.
Yep.
How would that have turned out possibly?
Yeah, you wanted
May
to
or may
put
not have
like
been.
15 of them or something in there, those
They
man
were just going to
camp.
line them up.
Yep. That's
So try to get the density increased enough to somehow make the infrastructure pay. So I'd address any questions if you guys have got any. I don't know, I have all the answers, but we've been dealing with this kind of stuff for a long time.
Thank you, Don.
Thanks, Don.
Thanks,
Thank
Don.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Council?
I have none.
If not, we'll close the hearing at 7:34 PM. Okay, we'll want to go back to communications from the public. We received a note from the dump station collection box, and the note states, "We thank you so much for providing a dump station. Greatly appreciate it. Your town is a nice place to come to. It should be proud. Thanks, Judy and Craig Frost, Corcoran, Minnesota." So
Nice.
nice to be appreciated. Are there any other communications from the public? Okay, moving on. We have a council update, Tracy? And we'd like good news this time?
Well, I wish I had more exciting good news to share, but of course we had an interesting weekend. We had 2 water main breaks within about 2 hours of each other. Whether or not they're related, could be, although the fact that the second one broke upstream of the first one after pressure would have already been lower, who knows. The first one was on 16th Street, and it was once again a rock under a PVC pipe. So the practice of installing PVC water mains 30 to 40 years ago, where rocks got put in the backfill, really has been an issue. Probably half or more of our water main breaks in the last 15 years have been the newer mains. They've been the PVC mains. And of course they don't corrode, we don't have those issues, but they're very sensitive to the rock. So that was unfortunate. And the second one was over on 23rd Street. It was within about 50 feet of where we had a break a couple years ago, and it flooded the same yard for the second time. And that particular pipe is a cast iron pipe that is in bad condition. So we will have to replace about an 80-foot section of that pipe because it's in such bad condition that repair clamps won't even seal completely. So that was our weekend. Obviously, that's not the road project update, but it is a utilities update. As far as the road project is going, I guess we're in a little bit of a quieter spell at the moment. You do have a change order, which was anticipated on tonight's agenda, and that is the addition of the 1,900 feet of additional water main replacement on North River Street. And that is a PVC line installed in 1980. And of course, we had a very serious break in January. And once again, it was due to a very large rock. That was about a 300-pounder that we pulled out of there. Not just a river cobble, but a very large rock. And we also had a valve that the valve body had issues further upstream by the Flatiron, which is on that same stretch. And we also noted that area was buried, the backfill was almost all a rock and cobbles. So that is what that change order is covering. We recognized this last winter that it was probably not a prudent thing to leave that main unchanged with the new highway on top of it. So that is what I believe is your agenda item. It looks like it is I. Agenda item I. Other than that, there's been a couple changes in the construction schedule. One of the things that is being done somewhat differently is that it's my understanding that the 2 blocks coming south from University on North Chicago Street will be next for pavement removal. And then I think their plan is to hopefully get those 2 blocks done down to Baltimore, or actually just short of the Baltimore intersection, right at it, before pretty much having to shut down actual paving work for the winter. And of course, as we know, they're still over here on Jensen Highway and working on that area, getting that tied together. The other thing will be the utilities for the project itself. It's my understanding, and I clarify that, it's my understanding because I know that, these schedules can change depending on what the contractors run into, but they do plan to begin the utilities replacement from Jennings proceeding north on North River Street probably within a couple weeks, early October. And quite honestly, given the fact that we've now had, I think, 4 or 5 breaks on that 16-inch ductile iron main, the sooner they can get that replaced, the better. Because that, I don't know if you've seen that piece of that pipe that I have on display in the front office at City Hall, but it's really just holding together by the dirt that's holding it, that's around it. So the sooner the better that they can get that done, the less worry we have. So that is really kind of where the road construction project is at. We've been requested to move some fire hydrants a little bit to accommodate their temporary widening, or I shouldn't really say temporary widening, but their how they have to route the traffic on that 2-block section. We did choose and decided that it was prudent to replace valves on the Chicago Street down through Jensen Highway area, as we found that the corrosive soil has badly deteriorated the bodies of the valves. So the valves might work, and they do work, but they're actually being eaten out from the outside in. So we are doing those sequentially in coordination with the contractor and with South Dakota Department of Transportation. And every once in a while, of course, there's things that, we get a call about that they need something, verified, adjusted, an elevation of something or whatever. So we really just do everything we can, to really work with the DOT and the contractor to keep the project moving smoothly. So that's pretty much the road update. If you have questions also on the change order for the digester lid, I guess now would be a really good time for you to be able to field those questions.
I got a question on the water main extension. It says in here sewer too. I didn't know he's doing sewer.
Oh, it does? No, there's no change on the, let's see, I think that's just the labeling of PCN X05P. That's the name of the project, water main and sewer improvements. Yeah, no, the sewer, no changes. That's already part of the original project. Okay. But yeah, good question.
And just for clarification, they are going to get the southbound lanes from Detroit to the truck bypass done before the end of the year.
Hopefully.
We're going to be switching sides here shortly. Is that in the plan?
We have an update. We have a weekly, progress meeting at the American Legion each week. The meeting for the contractors and DOT starts at 9 o'clock and it's open to the public at 10. And of course, if you want to really get the latest updates, that's a really good thing to come to. So we will be having one of those meetings tomorrow, and we'll have the latest update on what they're hoping to do. What I am pretty certain of, though, is they're not going to try to do the 6th Street, Dip Bridge,
right.
That whole reconfiguration of that intersection, because that's a pretty major thing. So I think that's going to be accomplished in the spring.
Tracy, upon denial or hopefully approval of that 1,900 foot of pipe, did you have any indications on a start time for them to begin that work?
That work would be probably sometime next year. The biggest priority right now will be the section of North River from Jennings up to Minnetonka, especially with that water main. Like I say, I mean, the sooner they can get that out of there. We really don't want to have another break on that, but it's just in such terrible shape that, you know, we're just hoping. Every time the phone rings in the middle of the night, I see that it's dispatch, I'm wondering if that's what it's, you know, if that's going to be that thing again. But no, the actual schedule on that, that is not set yet, but it would be sequential, probably, you know, shortly after they're done with, you know, with the North River section. If, you know, it all depends on how well things go this winter with really how much of the utilities they do. I mean, that's pretty much up to the contractor. But what we do have to do, of course, is get that in the contract, get that covered. And one of the good things, and this is really, you know, a thank you to the contractor, is they are honoring all their line item prices for this addition. And given that that bid was made, you know, almost a year ago, and we have seen some tremendous increase in the prices that we pay, you know, at the wholesale level for our pipe and our supplies, that is very commendable. We're, you know, really grateful for that.
Yeah. Good, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks, Tracy.
Okay. All right, anything else? No. Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, do we have anyone here from Black Hills Area Habitat for Humanity? Okay, well, we do have a proclamation here from the mayor's office, so I'd like to go ahead and read that at this point. An executive proclamation, Hot Springs, South Dakota, Office of the Mayor. Whereas more than 100,000 individuals live below the poverty line in South Dakota, and more than 3,500 affordable homes are needed in the Black Hills area, and whereas Black Hills Area Habitat for Humanity has served 311 families through affordable housing solutions and will continue to address the lack of decent housing in our communities and around the world while reducing environmental impact by recycling building materials through habitat restores. And whereas secure housing not only facilitates opportunities for health improvement, civic engagement, investment, and wealth accumulation, but also provides a source of dignity and respect and serves as a basis for the pursuit of other rights. By offering a hand up, Habitat looks to help close the gap of growing inequality by committing to scaling up our process and working to offer as many families as possible stable housing opportunities. And whereas the United Nations General Assembly has declared the first Monday in October as World Habitat Day, a time to unite in a worldwide effort to promote policies to ensure adequate shelter for all, by raising awareness and advocating for universal, decent housing, we can change the systems that reinforce poverty housing and make affordable homes a reality for all. Now, therefore, Mayor Bob Nelson, Mayor of Hot Springs, does hereby designate October 3rd, 2022 as World Habitat Day and encourages all Hot Springs citizens to work towards the elimination of inadequate housing. And we just want to really appreciate what Habitat does, Habitat for Humanity does, and really also want to acknowledge the individuals, the organizations, and the companies involved in the various habitat projects. Okay, moving on into the agenda, into personnel actions. Can I get a motion to approve personnel actions A through F?
I make a motion to approve personnel actions A through F.
Second.
Any discussion?
This will give us a completely staffed police department? Is that what's going to happen with this one?
Yes.
We need to ring some bells.
We'll still have one and
No,
one.
this is him.
This is
This
it?
is
Okay, I'm
him.
sorry, I apologize.
Yep.
But an unstaffed Evans Plunge, just for the record, so that everybody knows.
And Utilities Department, if that wonderful review didn't make you want to work there.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve ordinance, second reading of ordinance 1242?
I make a motion for the second reading ordinance of 1242, 2023 appropriation ordinance.
Second.
Any discussion? Just for the benefit of the public, do want to comment that in 2023, we do have a structurally balanced budget for the general fund. What that means is our revenues do equal our expenditures. In our 501 fund, which is our capital improvement fund, we are applying $2.5 million in cash. That $2.5 million is essentially what we received from the state. No,
It's in addition to,
it's in addition. It's what we've had. And then also in our solid waste fund, we were $650 short of being structurally balanced. Our total general fund budget for next year is $3,487,226. Our Evans Plunge Mineral Springs budget for next year is $790,755. Southern Hills Golf Course is $640,080. And for budgeting purposes, both Evans Plunge and Southern Hills Golf Course have subsidies from the 212 Additional Sales Tax Fund. Now, hopefully, they will do well enough that we won't have to use those subsidies, but they must have a balanced budget. So for budgeting purposes, we do budget those subsidies. Our water fund, which is also an enterprise fund, which means that it has its own revenue stream, is $609,390. Our wastewater fund, which is also enterprise fund, is $900,790. Our additional sales tax fund, and this is the third penny, or a third of the sales tax that we all pay, is $797,381. And the liquor, lodging, and dining fund is $179,225. So
we do have some street assessments that benefit the revenue in the 212 fund. That's not all sales tax.
yeah, this is not a complete, but this just gives you an idea. There's a lot of money, so seems like a lot to me anyway. And this was all hammered out in 3 very full nights of budget hearings. So, if there's any other discussion from the council, Misty, would you call the roll?
Melanie Wilson?
Yes.
David Burris?
Yes.
J.R. Huddleston?
Yes.
Larry Pratt?
Yes.
Craig Romey?
Yes.
Deborah Johnston?
Yes.
Linda Varvel?
Yes.
Bill Lukens?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, council. Okay, new business. First item is discussion only regarding countywide law enforcement. And I'd like to give anybody from the public an opportunity if they have a question or a comment, and let me say a few things before you might come up. The process we're going through on regarding input from the public is we're using a risk assessment tool that I've used before when I was in industry called a what if, because that's really the input that I've received from the public falls into the what if this, what if that, and that's actually a very commonly used tool. And so we're going to be documenting your what ifs. And so if you have what ifs or concerns, I've got paper and pens up at the microphone. Those of you that have emailed me or have commented on Facebook, we'll be pulling those comments off and including those in our discussions. We're not going to settle anything tonight. This is just information gathering. There is a team of county representatives and city representatives working on a draft contract in the event that we might consider countywide law enforcement. And so as we get your concerns and questions, we'll take a look at them and see if they're addressed in that contract document. And if they are addressed, then that's fine. And if not, we'll see if the document needs to be revised, or if the concern is such that we need to assign a risk level to it, and whether or not that concern can even be addressed. If you're not comfortable with just leaving your request tonight, if you want to talk more, our next public safety meeting is Thursday, October 6th. The meeting starts at 2 o'clock, and depending on how heavy the agenda is, we hope to be able to start talking about countywide law enforcement concerns about 3 o'clock. And we're going to put the coffee pot on and stick around till 6 o'clock. And we'll be at the conference room here at the Mueller Center. So if anybody from the public has a comment that they would like to talk about countywide, the mic is yours for the next minute or so. And once again, name and address, even though we know who you are.
Robert Paul, 1327 Schofield Street. Not a lot of comments. Do have a couple questions. Basically because of the lack of information. I know that this is just a discussion only and is just getting started. I am interested, question-wise, whether the city approached the county or the county approached the city concerning this matter. I'm wondering when the change would take effect if it was decided that is the direction that people wanted to go. The concerns I have is, what if it's decided that we go countywide, what is going to become of all of the physical property that the city has for law enforcement right now? Another concern that I have got is in putting this, if it were to go through and we're putting this into the county's hands, I'm a little bothered that there are no residents of the city represented on the county commission board, which would seem a little unfair to me and a little bit biased against the city. I'm also wondering, budget-wise, I understand that we would no longer be dealing with a police budget on the city budget, but I'm also kind of skeptical as to how much the county is going to be giving credence to the city's concerns, and what effect and what input that the residents of the city are going to have on the budget process for the county concerning law enforcement. Those are basically a few of the comments that I have got concerning it.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
I'm not ignoring you, Bob. I'm typing like crazy.
Bill, I also think a lot of the answers to these questions are and have been really in the working group of the executive session. I know you know that, I just want to remind us that.
Yeah, and just to ditto what Jeff has said, you haven't expressed anything unique. So thank you. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, moving on. New business item B, can I get a motion?
I make a motion to approve the use permit on review application from Ryan and Stacy Hanna of 27474 Galveston Heights for an in-home carry-out specialty bakery as a customary home occupation, pending the submission and approval of plans for facility/home construction and the issuance of related building permit, ensuring compliance with this City of Hot Springs ordinances relating to customary home occupations.
Second.
Any other discussion?
Do you want a roll call?
Yeah, let's do a roll call on that one.
J.R. Huddleston,
Yes.
David Burris,
Yes.
Larry Pratt,
Yes.
Craig Romy,
Yes.
Linda Varvel,
Yes.
Melanie Wilson,
Yes.
Deborah Johnston,
Yeah.
Bill,
Yes.
Bill Lukens.
Yes.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Good luck to you.
Can I ask one question?
No.
Is there something we can get from the city to provide to our lender saying?
Our minutes. I'll provide you a copy of our minutes. They're unofficial until they're approved at the next council, but most places will take the unofficial meeting minutes. I can provide you both if you need them.
I'll see what he needs.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good luck to you.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the revised South Dakota Basic Officer Certification Repayment Policy?
I make a motion to discuss and approve the revised South Dakota Basic Officer Certification Repayment Policy.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Just a couple of notes. There's no real change to the policy other than I lost my page. What this form does is clarify when and where the agreement will be signed, which it will be signed at the time of hire. The other thing is it clarifies that if the officer does not attend the academy, they're not committing to a 2-year employment contract. So, those are the two clarifications that were made.
So they can continue working uncertified? Is that
Only for a year.
only for a
They have to
year?
be certified within a year.
And that's a state codified law?
Yes.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business item D, can I have a motion to authorize the finance officer to transfer cash from the general fund and additional sales tax fund to the capital improvement fund for the suspended sidewalk?
I make a motion to authorize finance officer to transfer cash in the amount of $1 million from the general fund to unassigned fund balance 101-26700 and $590,000 from the additional sales tax fund capital replacement balance 212-26520 to the Hot Springs Capital Improvement Fund suspended sidewalk balance 501-26425 for the contracted future expenses related to the suspended sidewalk project.
Second.
Okay, and Misty, just to make sure that I don't misspeak, what this moves funds that we've talked about in the past about using for the project. It moves them to the 501 Capital Improvement Fund so that we can not only pay for the project as the invoices come in, but it also removes the funds from the general fund and the additional sales tax fund so that we have a clearer understanding of our overall financial position.
Yes, sir.
Well said.
But this isn't the full amount for the sidewalk.
If there are no changes, it will include, because we already have a balance in there from what we got from the state, it will include enough if there are no changes.
Any
The big
other
if. The big if.
Yeah.
Okay.
This shouldn't be as bad as the utility
No.
project, I would hope, but.
Okay, any other questions?
None for me.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Can I get a motion to authorize the finance officer to release the restrictions of equity in the amount of $460,925.62 in the water fund and $614,756.43 in the wastewater fund?
I'll make a motion to authorize the finance officer to release the restrictions of equity in the amount of $460,925.62 in the water fund 602-26522 and $614,756.43 in the wastewater fund 604-26522 for the expenses related to infrastructure improvements coinciding with the Highway 18 385 road reconstruction project. Construction and expenses have started.
Second.
Okay, and once again, just for explanation and clarification, these were funds that were in the Bank of the West?
No, those are already gone, but they're funds that council restricted at one time previously to set aside for the project.
Okay. And so this releases them so that we can pay our bills.
It doesn't put any more money in the balances that you've already been seeing. It just releases the restriction.
Perception.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Can I get a motion to authorize the finance officer to release the restrictions of $316,661.25 in the wastewater fund for infrastructure improvements at the wastewater treatment plant?
I make a motion for the discussion to authorize the finance officer to release the restriction of $316,661.25 in the wastewater fund 604-26524 for the infrastructure improvements at the wastewater treatment plant, money originally restricted from the ARPA grant dollars received.
Second.
Now, does this cover the purchase of the digester lid and the installation of the digester?
This was the first tranche of money received, and so those two expenses have been paid except for the installation piece for the lid.
Okay.
But this won't be enough to cover all of it.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve and authorize the Public Works engineer to publish the request for proposal for maintenance and repair work in the Fall River Channel flood wall and levee system?
I make a motion to approve and authorize the Public Works engineer to publish the request for proposal for maintenance and repair work in the Fall River Channel flood wall / levee system.
Second.
And just a reminder, council budgeted $65,000 out of the 212 fund for this work in the 2022 budget. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve change order number 1 for the installation of the digester lid at the wastewater treatment plant?
Make a motion to approve change order number 1 to the JR Civil LLC contract for 2022 Hot Springs WWTP digester lid installation project. The change of $52,000 $400, increases the contract price to $196,073.70, and is due to installation being more complex than originally projected.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
We kind of knew this one was coming.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve change order number 4 with Complete Concrete?
I make a motion to approve the change order number 4 with Complete Concrete Incorporated, project number 2021-001, PCNX05P, water main and sanitary sewer improvements. Change order increases the contract price by $421,923.25 to a new total contract price of $2,208,322.88.
Second.
Okay, this, Tracy gave us a good explanation of this. Is there any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to authorize the Evans Plunge Mineral Springs Facility Director, Chris Hansen, to sign a 2-year hosted agreement?
I make a motion to authorize Devon Plunge Mineral Springs Facility Director Chris Hansen to sign a 2-year hosted communications solutions agreement with Golden West Telecommunications Cooperative Incorporated to upgrade the phone system.
Second.
Jeff, is there any explanation here that?
Yeah, there's nothing unusual. This is an ongoing, it's the ongoing service that we have now. They're upgrading all of our hardware in there and putting in the intercom systems for safety and all that. Rather than us buy that outright, we're just agreeing to a service that we're going to have anyway. So it's, unless Misty knows something I don't, it's rather matter-of-fact agreement.
It's a different type of telephone service. It's like a voice over IP. So their existing phone hardware that they use there is dated. They've had some problems with it, and instead of replacing that, they chose a new hosted communication service through Golden West Telecommunications, which is separate from the service provided at Golden West. So we'll still have that as well as this, and then the hardware for the phone will have to change with the new service.
So this will stop the phones from going down?
Well, I sure hope
hopefully.
so, but this is a first for any city place to have this type of service, so we'll see.
Does this cost anything?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, it's cost.
I didn't see it.
The last page got the prices on it.
Yeah.
It's fairly comparable because they'll be saving from some of the services.
Currently, at the last Evans Plunge meeting, I was told that they do not currently have phone service coming in to the facility because it doesn't work.
Yep.
Oh, I told today, they got it back up.
It's on
Did
and
they
off.
get it?
It's on and off.
It's intermittent.
Is it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So hello 21st century.
No more can in a string, I guess.
Rotary dials are out.
Well, we ordered some, they haven't come in yet.
Those will be back ordered.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve the contract 2022-12?
Make a motion to approve contract 2022-12 use agreement for Fall River Swim Team to use Evans Plunge Mineral Springs in September of 2022 through March of 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve contract 2022-13?
Make a motion to approve contract 2022-13 between Evans Plunge Mineral Springs and Emily Moffett, for fitness instruction at the Evans Plunge Mineral Springs facility between September of 2022 through May of 23.
Second.
Discussion?
Okay, it was my understanding that I think this is the second year that Emily is going to be doing this.
No, she did it before COVID too.
Oh, did she?
I think
Okay.
Emily's new. We've had other fitness instructors.
Emily did it before COVID.
Did we have a contract
Well, she
with
did
her?
the evening ones. Someone else did the morning ones.
I don't know that we had a contract with her.
Okay.
Just for the
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to recognize and record the names of the suppliers of 8,000 gallons of aviation fuel?
I make a motion to approve, and to recognize and record the name of the supplier of 8,000 gallons of, what is that, 100 LL?
low lead.
Liquid liters.
Liquid liters,
Low lead.
okay. Aviation gasoline purchased by the Hot Springs Municipal Airport as required by SDCL 5-18C-6. Purchase was made with Ascent Aviation Group World Fuel at $4.46 per gallon. Other vendors considered were MG Oil at $6.25 and Epic Fuels at $4.82. Purchase will exceed current budget authority by $28,000 to be funded by future supplemental appropriation.
Second.
Dave? Thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to schedule a public hearing?
Make a motion to schedule a public hearing on 10/3/22 at 7:10 to act on the temporary alcoholic beverage license application from the Mammoth site for the Southern Black Hills Realtors and Kids fundraiser event, scheduled for 10/14/22, beginning at 6 p.m. at the Mammoth site, 1800 US Highway 18 bypass.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve an automatic budget supplement?
Make a motion to approve an automatic budget supplement of $63,871.85 to water fund improvements other than building 602-43350-43300 and $24,839.05 to the wastewater fund improvements other than building 604-43250-43300 for the sewer and water main replacement project. Grant reimbursement received from CDBG grant number 1919-107-03.
Second.
Discussion. What, this is from a community development block grant? for-
It's the one that we're waiting on the approval of the additional 204,000 so that we can max out at 770,000 that we got to help us with the $2.2 million now all water and sewer main replacement project. So as we pay the contractor, I submit paperwork to the grantor for reimbursement. And then when the reimbursement comes in, we can do an automatic budget supplement to supplement the budgets that have paid the bills.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve a travel training request?
I make a motion to approve travel training request from Safety Coordinator Lori Sherrard to attend the 2022 South Dakota Safety and Loss Control Training Conference in Pierce, South Dakota, November 2nd and 3rd.
Second.
Discussion?
I believe we got word that we received both the gold and platinum awards for last year, and Jeff will be present at the annual conference to receive the award, and then they'll also recognize the city of Hot Springs during these conferences as well.
And I believe this training does help us with our workman's comp rate and
Helps us get those levels of awards, and then we get some loss control credits.
So it's not just, this is not a boondoggle.
Nope. This is something that we need to stay on, and I think Lori's done good with it.
She does a good job.
Big kudos to Lori.
Yes, sir.
She has done a marvelous job.
This
She's
saves-
just fantastic.
This saves us quite a bit of money over time.
And hopefully prevents a few accidents.
And in the process, yes.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Can we go back to Jay for a second? I have a question. I voted no because we have Golden West in there right now, right? A different branch, what was approved?
Golden West Telecommunications provides the software and the hardware, I believe, for this hosted communication. It's different than a phone line.
But they can't fix our phones to where they work since that we
There's
pay
been
them?
intermittent, and we would need to replace the phone system, is what I understand.
Not only the hardware, but the cabling and all that is.
The lines,
But
every
they don't do that? I know when they put fiber optic in my house and it didn't cost me nothing.
I don't know if.
Yeah, you'd probably have to talk directly with Chris or Golden West about the specifics of what's failing and
Well,
why.
I'm not sure, but I was thinking maybe the constant humidity within the building
There's been a problem.
may affect the wiring and stuff.
I'm sure it does, but
And the
we
phones
pay them so much month and our phone bills aren't low.
Well, why don't we discuss that
And it's
offline?
passed. We can get more information.
I can follow up, Craig, and provide more information to council on why we're doing that.
Okay, let's go to committee reports, admin, finance. JR, Melanie?
Next committee meeting is October 3rd at the Mueller Civic Center, 1 PM. All are welcome.
Okay, next Airport Advisory Committee meeting is Thursday, October 6th, 8:30 a.m. at the airport. Custer Fall River Regional Waste Management District. Larry?
The meeting started at 7 p.m. Members present were Dean Weekly, Vice Chairman, Peg Ryan, Secretary Treasurer, Dan Frieden, Dee Anderson, myself, Joe Messinio, and Roger Horton. Members absent were Mike Lindy and Les Cope. The Treasurer's report was presented. Fees associated with the credit card payment was reviewed. The contract manager report was given. The equipment is running well except for a compactor. It has a hydraulic problem. The Danner site report was reviewed and reported. Items are being addressed. Customers are being reminded to tarp their dump loads. F&G reported the strategic plan and renewal application is being worked on. The 2021 annual water testing report was reviewed and approved by Danner. Motion was made to approve up to 2 board members to attend the 2022 South Dakota Annual Solid Waste Conference on September 20th and 22nd in Spearfish. Proposals for the biannual audit are still being solicited. Meeting adjourned at 7:40 p.m. Next meeting will be November 10th, 2022 at 7 p.m. at the Mueller Center.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Historic Preservation Commission. Deb?
The last meeting was canceled, but they did hold an email vote for the final version of the ordinances that have been being gone over and reviewed, yes, updated. Last time that happened was when they were written, what was it, 1974? So those are in your information side of the packets. I will not be here for the next council meeting if they are to be voted on. I will be out of country. So if you have any questions, ask me now. And the next meeting will be October 5th at 5 p.m. here at the Mueller Center.
Okay. Thanks, Deb.
Thank you.
Evans Plunge Advisory Committee. Linda?
The Evans Plunge Advisory Committee met on September 8th at noon at the Evans Plunge. Present were committee chair, myself. Committee members present were Chris Hansen, Kathy Wren, Okoye Zimiga, Dennis Fisher, Tom Nas. Absent were Allison Ritterbusch, Mara Smith, Barry McNair. School updates on the Evans Plunge Mineral Springs classes by Dennis Fisher. The program has been postponed due to curriculum needs at the school. The school is still committed, but not during the first semester. And they are looking at tennis and pickleball with internships offered during the second semester. The end-of-year project updates, window replacements, flooring on observation decks started, completion indefinite as the workers became ill. Scott Sogi conducted an inspection of the double door, hopefully to be replaced with a roll-up door. He took measurements and is looking for something more economical and secure. Facility functions are good. We have no phone service at the Plunge. We have contacted and are working with Golden West at this time. Roof hail damage repairs are complete. On staffing, we have 7 lifeguards, the front desk level, and we are making do with what we have with no applications coming in. No closing days or changing hours at this point. We will have senior Thursdays and kids Fridays, October through April. The monthly review of saves, there were no new saves in the past 30 days. Other news, the puppy plunge was held in the outdoor pool, and thank you for the increase in the fees for the birthday parties to help cover food costs. We held 54 birthday parties between September 2021 and May 2022, and Kathy will be off for a couple of months. The next meeting will be October 13th, 2022, noon at the Evans Plunge, and we adjourned.
Any questions for Linda?
I have one. The flooring on the observation deck, what are they putting down?
I think they were replacing what they had there.
Well, isn't it concrete?
I guess there was a covering over it, and they started tearing it up to replace it, and the workers got ill, and I don't know if it was COVID related or not, but it's functional right now, and I think it is back down to what the bare concrete was.
So that's what they're gonna leave on there?
Until the employees can return, the contractors can return and complete it.
Do you know what they're putting back on it though?
I don't know.
If you can, I'd like to know.
Okay.
Because with, like you say, the humidity,
Yeah.
if it's right,
Yeah.
if it's the wrong stuff, it's gonna be slick up there.
Well, I think it was supposed to be something that was skid-proof, is what they were looking at, but I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
Anything else? Thanks, Linda.
You're welcome.
Parks, Rec, Beautification, and Cultural Development. Larry?
Next meeting will be October 5th, 2 PM at the Mueller Center.
Okay.
You're invited.
Planning and Zoning. Deb?
They meet this Wednesday, the 21st, at City Hall at 7 PM. Everyone's welcome.
JR? You will not be as brief.
Buckle up, kids, it's going to be a long ride on this report.
Okay.
City of Hot Springs Public Safety Committee met Thursday, September 8th, 2022 at 2 PM at the Mueller Center Conference Room. Elected officials, Alderman Bill Lukens, Alderman J.R. Huddleston, Alderwoman Deborah Johnston, Alderwoman Linda Varvel, Mayor Bob Nelson, Police Chief Ross Norton, Jeff Temple, City Administrator, Emergency Manager Frank Maynard, and Joe Allen, County Commissioner. Members of the public were Hal Glanville, Logan Brown, Jeff Weedo, and John Haskovitz of the South Dakota Wildland Fire, and Rajni Lerman and Ryan Engel. Communications from the public. Hal Glanville asked about handicap parking in Centennial Park. Yes on the schedule in late fall. Hal Glanville asked about the handrail on the footbridge near the waterfall. Railing repair is on the schedule. Update from the police department. One of the officers offered a position, has a physical issue that may delay his start date. Continuing to get interested candidates. Third offer out, but hasn't accepted as of this meeting date. In July, the PD responded to 772 calls, of which 102 of those were considered high-risk calls. Old business, house number report project, no update. Fuels reduction grant. Grant has been submitted at any time, can be submitted at any time. It is an allowed expenditure under the Pre-Disaster Mitigation Plan, PDM. Frank will provide Jeff an application form. South Dakota Wildland Fire was present to offer assistance in updating the Community Wildland Fire Protection Plan. South Dakota Wildland Fire also provided information on the Community Wildland Fire Defense Grant. CWPP must be updated within 10 years, which is the first step. Once the CWPP is updated, South Dakota Wildland Fire, the city, and even home or property owners associations can also then apply for funds. Due September 30th. City applies for fuels reduction grant. Review recently proposed traffic control sign changes at Albany and South River. The committee agreed that a stop sign should be added at the north end of the alley between the Brookside and the Vision Source, and that a handicap access should be added to the sidewalk entrance from the alley for the sidewalk on the north side of the Vision Source. Request for recreation item at the water fill station site. Committee believes adding the requested facility would create an unwanted situation and hazard at the water fill station area. However, city administrator is reviewing the possibility of installing a basketball hoop at the appropriate spot near the soccer field adjacent to the Mueller Center. New business. Committee agreed with the resident request for traffic control sign on Cardinal Drive at Meadowlark Drive. The committee agreed with the resident request for no outlet sign on Sandpiper Drive at Meadowlark and Clubhouse Drive. The committee agreed with the resident request for no parking on the east side of Clubhouse Drive and the clubhouse due to limited visibility. The committee agreed with the resident request for yellow curb adjacent to crosswalks by the school on Jennings Street. Chief Norton took an action to address violation in the current no parking zone in that area. Reviewed Title 9, Chapter 90, Chapter 90.07, dangerous or vicious animals, rabies, revision request. After lengthy discussion, all present were in agreement that it would not be appropriate to add the requested words vicious or dangerous. By doing so, it would allow all non-vicious and dangerous animals to run loose in the city, and that's unacceptable. Even with our current leash law, we have issues with people not properly controlling their animals. We discussed the need to change the title of the paragraph E, animals at large. Dangerous or vicious animals, humane euthanasia. Again, it was determined that this is grammatically correct and that the placement of the commas provide for a general listing of subjects discussed in the paragraph, and there is no need to make the change. Regarding E3, prohibiting animals to run at large within the city limits, we believe the purpose of this is not only to protect the animal from inadvertent harm, but also to protect residents from unwanted impacts from animals they do not own or that are not under their care and responsibility. When such impacts do occur, if the issue cannot be resolved between the parties and it continues, this ordinance provides a next step for the party suffering the damage. We all realize that cats present a much more complicated problem than do dogs, but there is still a responsibility of the owner to manage and manage the animal in such a way as to not cause harm or nuisance to others beyond the owner's property. Discuss and communicate procedures for handling non-domestic animals. Raccoons and skunks are varmints and the city's responsibility. Battle Mountain Humane Society will trap on behalf of the city and release in areas designated by the State Game Fish and Parks Department. As this is part of the Battle Mountain Humane Society contracted responsibility, they will not charge a resident for handling a trapped varmint. General ACO-related updates to Chapter 90. Reviewed and determined updates are not needed. Reviewed and provided comments to the city administrator on newly proposed Title 7, Chapter 703, 13, Abandoned and Junked Motor Vehicle Ordinance. Discuss the countywide law enforcement versus city PD. The two members of the public that were present asked questions to better understand the issue and shared their comments. These concerns are included in the list of items being discussed. The next meeting will be on Thursday, October 6th at 2 p.m. in the Mueller Center Conference Room. Some of the members will remain there until about 6 p.m. to accommodate members of the public that would like to express concerns or ask questions but can't attend the normal meeting. We adjourned at 4:35 p.m.
Thank you, JR. Any questions for JR?
I have a question. Where exactly and what is that handicap parking spot going to look like?
That is on the east side of the alley of where Business Source is, if I'm right, Bill. Correct?
The handicap access?
Yes.
Because there is a handicap access on this side from where Rob's used to be next to where the Business Source is at. But that handicap access, when the buses go in, the bus's tail end sticks out into the traffic. So what exactly, is it going to be parallel? Is it going to be diagonal?
Larry, can you and I get together separately and look at it?
I believe it's parallel.
I think it was parallel we were talking about, but if I can get your input on it, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you.
But I
Appreciate
do
it.
believe it's on that east side of the alley near Vision Source.
Yes.
Yeah, like behind the building to get the handicapped people in wheelchairs up onto the sidewalk so that they're not going behind the cars?
access is actually for people in mobility scooters
Right.
to
Okay.
go from Brookside onto the sidewalk without having to go
out into
either out into the street or through the parking lot of Vision Source.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll get with you, Jeff.
Was I vague enough?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's not really a
Perfect, much clearer.
offloading spot per se, but a direct route from the sidewalk across
Yeah, I know where
the
that
lot.
one's
Yeah.
at, but there's also another one up there too, so, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
certainly.
Certainly.
Public Works, Dave, Craig?
Go ahead, Dave.
Our next meeting will be,
New business. Parking in front of the clubhouse, and I don't know why this is on so many agendas. There's no parking in front of the clubhouse at all.
We've already, yeah.
And number two, the gravel pile in front of the police department. The mayor was trying to find out who it belonged to so they can get rid of it. Nobody will own up to owning it. So I don't know why the city don't just haul it away.
well, I'll give the boys a place to throw it.
Somebody will come and say it's theirs.
So he's gonna check into that more. Trimming trees in the alley will start in the winter time again. Drainage on, Valley Drive drainage, the Valley View Drive won't be till next year because of the road project and the city's so busy that they don't have time to get to it. Moving the light pole at the bypass, they need to get another base because they need to leave that base up there to cover the electrical that's there. So they're waiting for a new base. Boardwalk, and I don't know if the Citizens Hot Springs that drive up and down there don't know how to read. I'm just baffled, but it says for emergency vehicles only. I guess there's traffic up there all the time.
Yep. In fact, I've had 2 people stop at my house to ask if they could use that road.
And did you say, did
And I
you see the
said,
sign?
There's a sign there for emergency use only.
Yeah, and if it keeps getting
I would
used,
tell
we might
most
have to
our
close
public
it.
citizens that that's not a road to be using right now.
I think the drivers need to go back to school to learn how to read, I guess. That's just my opinion. The icy spot,
We're going to close it pretty soon anyway, so.
the icy spot in front of the vision source thing will be fixed sooner than later. The state, I guess, is gonna do it when they get to that intersection, which they're gonna be tearing up. I'm guessing within next week or so. They're doing those 2 blocks from the university to Baltimore?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the tree was taken down by the Catholic Church. It wasn't by the city, somebody took it down, hopefully for the firewood. And it was pretty rotten on the inside. The flagpole, the Sons of the American Legion flagpole in Centennial Park, they tried to take it out of the ground and it broke off. So I guess the city's gonna try to get that. There's a bigger pipe in the ground that the flagpole goes into. And the flagpoles broke off in that, so the city's gonna try to get that out. But if the Legion wants a new flagpole, they're gonna have to front the money for the flagpole and to put it up, according to the mayor. I want to bring that. The ramp near Macedonal was brought up. Excuse me. And that and the one at Centennial Park, I'm guessing it's still gonna happen this year. So the people with the handicap don't have to wheelchair the people from down in the center where the alley is all the way up the street. They can use that. Irrigation around the depot buildings in 2 park areas. Tracy's gonna make plans to see what's gonna take. I don't know how we're gonna afford it, but I guess people seems to think we're gonna have to do that.
It's that golden goose.
Huh?
It's the golden goose.
Yeah. Fire hydrant pressure at Edward Terrace is near to none. Matter of fact, they're gonna have to change the water line so we can get water pressure out of that hydrant. I guess it just kind of drizzles out. So that's on the agenda for the next year, so hopefully we don't have any problems this year. Because it's only 1 block and there's houses tied to that too. So they can't be having very good water pressure if the hydrant don't. Houses can have.
Do they have any idea what's?
Well, they said they don't have money this year to do it. It's only a 4-inch cast iron pipe, so it's not very big. And evidently it must be like maybe the size of my finger if there's no water
If it's
going out.
cast iron and been in there, I imagine
Yeah.
it's barely spitting it out.
Old business. The cleanup that the people did some work last week, and I didn't go down and look to see how they done. Did you, Deb?
No, I don't know exactly. I have to get over there, sorry.
All of the pampas grass looks like it's done, and it looks like they kind of mowed a stretch of the cottontail, or, the cottontails along the bank for quite a distance, but I don't know.
Mowed them instead of taking
It looks like, they
That a weed whacker.
cut them down to like knee-high or something, took the tops off. I don't know if they're gonna go back and just to make it easier to handle, to uproot them. I'm not sure what the plan is.
They should be coming close to bloom. So they'll be reseeding themselves.
Yeah, so,
maybe
but
they
the
took that
pampas
off.
grass, the Phragmites, looks like they've gotten all of it.
Thank you, Deb. The lease and royalty agreement with Simons, our 5 acres need to be appraised, so we know what to sell it for, and we need to find somebody that knows how to appraise the value of the rock.
Value of property,
Yeah. So that's on hold until we find somebody, and Tracy's looking into that. Community garden, Deb gave us a good review of that, and she said it's going good. Clubhouse retaining wall, Steve Schmanik was gonna go up and look at it. He told the city that he could fix it. He never said, well, how much or nothing, but Dollar General, I guess now the road will be fixed because they can't get the land because one person died. It's a big mess. So they got to tear it apart and fix it.
Okay. Well, that will come to an end for that headache though.
Yeah, well, they got to do it sooner than later, I guess. People there was Mayor Nelson, myself, Jeff, and Council Lady Deborah. Our next meeting, September 27th, at 1 o'clock at the Mueller Civic Center.
Thank you, Craig. Any questions for Craig?
You did so good, I'll just let you do it all day.
He's been doing really good.
Southern Hills Golf Course. Jeff?
Next Golf Course Advisory Board is October 10th at 6 p.m. at the golf course, at which time they will be conducting their final review of the recommendations for the 23 fees and charges structure. On the city administrator, the new internal work order system is in place. What you have is just the initial copy there of the first of a summary. We're trying to get it loaded up now with all the current work orders that are out there that are on backs of napkins and everything else into a system. So this is what I will provide this bi-weekly at every council meeting so that you can see. The advantage of this is that you can track those things that maybe you had a professional interest in from your ward without having to track everybody down and check it out. Normally there would be 2 documents. One would be open work orders, and one would be closed completed work orders. So you'll be able to see those without having to track me down. And just as an example on here, one of these is curb painting. That's the golf course curb, Craig, that you brought up in your report, for example. The nice thing about this, kind of as a follow-on, is that we have now placed a website banner on our homepage, which will be active in the next 24 hours. And that is a place for citizens, for residents to go in and put in a concern or a comment or I won't use the word complaint, but really to provide input. So there's a pothole, lights out, whatever. It will save residents once we get to using this. These will come directly to me. I'll load them into this system and they'll be documented. And then there'll be an automatic feedback system back to that person as well. So it allows folks to report a pothole without having to track me down, leave a message and figure out, or give it to you and you get a hold of me, and et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully this will kind of make things a little more controlled. I will get with Brett at some point. He's gone now, but I will get with him at some point here this week, and we'll look at getting an article in the paper on that. That is all I have, subject to your questions.
Jeff, I'd like to let you know the 88 ramp adjacent to Massa, all the facilities are on board with that, and they're very excited that this is going to be put in.
Okay. So maybe you and I can go out there and after, when you get time, we'll go out there and we'll spray paint it where we want it to be. So.
Okay.
It's the lowest thing on here, so.
That's why I brought it up.
I got a question. How'd this waterfall maintenance go from medium to the next line high?
So here's, I meant to mention that, I apologize. I think what I'm going to do is probably do an expanded, there's 2 options. One, you just get the title of the work order. Another one that gives you the actual details of the work order. I'm afraid that's going to get kind of long and drawn out, so I didn't do the whole thing. But one of those, as I recall off the top of my head, one is a safety issue. I think that's the railing. And then the other one is a medium priority, which is to replace the lamps, which we have actually purchased the lights, or the lamps for the lights. So one is the railing is because it's a safety issue.
So, did we have somebody look at the fill pipe to See if the water's getting pumped up to a waterfall?
Yes, that was included in that whole thing with the lights. I included that in there as a, check the overall pressure and see what you got to do, blah, blah, blah. So, yes, that was included in there. And I'll do, unless it gets too long and drawn out, once we get everything loaded in here, I'm afraid that that's going to be too much information to put out. So it might be easier in that case for you to call and say, hey, give me some details on that or something. But we'll work it out. I was just trying not to create this, 12-page document with all that information.
I like this.
Yeah, I do
Thanks,
too.
Mike.
I like this, and as you've heard me say before, I think all city equipment should have a monthly report and printout of what we're spending on, not just the cars, but all equipment across the board. Anything that they're using that is costing us in repairs.
Right, yeah. And I will say that another part of this, which again, I'm not an IT guy, so these are all baby steps for us. Adam, there's only two of us on this account, myself and Adam. Adam is handling all the work orders for all the departments right now because we want to make sure this thing works before we go any further. Right. But he's excited because he wants to get his PM schedule on here for his vehicles and his equipment, which, I don't know how he's doing it now, probably in the back of a napkin like the rest of us. So, he's excited about it. But unfortunately, it's an administrative burden, so he's got to kind of fit it into everything else. But we're getting there. But that is the next phase, yeah.
This is a taste of what could be coming. I'm all for it.
Thanks, Dave.
Misty?
Thank you for the approval of the hire of our new admin at the last council meeting. If you haven't come in to meet Ariel Bachman, our new administrative assistant, please do. And she's fitting in quite well and picking things up very quickly. And we're happy to have her aboard.
Smart kid.
I told you I would follow up on the publication of our 2021 financial statements and audit report on the DLA website, and that is finally up. The city's accepting payments online through our website, through an online payment portal. That's existed for a few months now. We've only had a few payments. We haven't advertised or pushed it very much, but you can make payments on your utility bills, your Mueller Center rents, recreation, the airport, and other miscellaneous general fee payments. So check it out. Tell your friends.
Wow, great.
We've received and you approved the budget supplements for repairs to the hail-damaged vehicles from the June hailstorm. We had 8 police department vehicles, 3 water vehicles, and 1 wastewater vehicle that were provided coverage for a total of $69,709.40. I believe the plan was to improve or repair all of those vehicles, and each department is working on getting those damages repaired. We just received late Friday the summary for the insurance claim on the buildings. The roof repairs needed on 36 buildings. I'm still waiting on the Kidney Springs gazebo. They told me there was no damage done, but if you've walked by there lately, there's a lot of broken and cracked wood and chipped paint. And we do have a specialty art type coverage on that. We're looking at a little over $1.4 million in ACV costs, and then we do have actual cost value replacement. So if the amount that we receive initially to repair the roofs in our facilities doesn't cover the actual repair, we can keep track of and then request reimbursement from the insurance for the additional repairs. We have a meeting scheduled this Thursday. Tracy, Scott, Jeff, the mayor, and I to go through that in detail, and then we'll be sharing with the department heads and all the affected facilities so that they are impacted facilities so that they can start repairs. With the dollar amount, we will definitely have to go to formal bid, which requires some processes, but we can definitely get through that. I did receive notification and double check that the ordinance revisions that we sent to American Legal are now updated on our website. You approved the claim to pay for those. It was about $1,400, $1,500. Craig, do you remember?
Yeah.
That includes the medical cannabis dispensary licensing and zoning ordinance changes, so those are now up on our active website. Also, the most recent version of the fireworks ordinance, and then the ward redistricting. So those are all updated on there now. And that's all I have for an update today.
Any questions for Misty?
I got one. Is that 100-year-old gazebo down by the depot, is that insured?
Oh, the
Came
little,
from the cemetery?
yeah, we don't have any special coverage for that, but when we do a review of our insurance claims, if that's something that's historic or,
Well, yeah.
okay, I'm sorry, I
think it
didn't
is
know.
anyway.
Yeah.
Where's that, by the depot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right down from it.
It's on the
I think
left
I know which
side.
one you're
We
talking
get some of that repaired, I mean.
Well, I see the roof is wood and it got hit pretty hard.
What did you call it?
Well, I called it a gazebo because it's like the octagon shape.
Doesn't
Like
it have a
what,
clock
ticket
in
office
it?
or something other?
No.
The words on the
You
side?
said, it's got words on the side. You said the cemetery, before the city bought the cemetery. And it's for information about the 30, 40 graves that's up there, I guess.
Okay.
But that's where it's at, and then
Take a look at it. I was wondering.
Yeah,
we
we have
had
special.
Maria March repaint it and redo the lettering on the side. The lettering's from the original lettering was from the 1800s.
I'll take a look at it.
Well, I know it's not currently covered, but.
It's just about the
But I need to look at it and figure out what it is. I wasn't aware of it, so.
Damn it.
Okay, any other questions? Is there any chance I could get a motion for adjournment?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Bill, my compliments.
Yeah, not bad,
Whoa.
8:55.
Less than 2 hours, I believe.